Well, hello everyone. It's the DigiLancer here, and welcome to this series of step-by-step courses designed to help you systematically put together all of the building blocks that will dramatically increase your chances of success as a modern freelancer in a digital world. Now, I think it's important to begin this journey before the beginning. In other words, we need to take a moment to step back and ask the most basic and fundamental question of all. Should you even start down this path in the first place? Now, I know a number of you are going to be tempted to skip ahead in the series, especially those of you who are already freelancing, but I urge you not to do this. After years of working and studying the field of digital freelancing, I've distilled it down to 3 core elements that I believe must be present to be successful. I assure you, this self-examination will benefit both the individual who is considering making the move to digital freelancing and the current digital freelancer. Today, we're going to focus on the first of the 3 core success elements. The first element that I have found present in all successful digital freelancers is this: you must have the absolute need to leave the paycheck world behind and the ability to never look back. This starts with that deep down, right in the pit of your gut, absolute need to leave the security of the paycheck world behind. Now, if you look down deep inside and what you find is the feeling that you are worth more than what you're being paid, and you probably are, that is simply not good enough. Just go out and find a better paying job because you will never make it through the difficult times. By absolute need to leave the paycheck world behind, I mean you must have a total disdain for anybody telling you what you are worth, that it is only you that can determine your own personal monetary value. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but so many digital freelancing sources today have a set fee for services. And that is true. A great example that springs to mind is a site like Fiverr, where each gig starts at $5. To this, I would point out 3 things. 1, as a digital freelancer, it is only you who determines where you offer your services. 2, if you do decide to use these services, it is you who determines what projects you will offer or accept at that price. And 3, if one quote gig on one site is the sum total of your freelance work, then you are determining your own worth. It might not be much, but you did in fact determine your own destiny. Therefore, I would argue, although there are many freelance sources that set the price parameters, it is still only you who determines your final worth by where, what, and how many projects and services you produce. Further, you must not only be willing to leave the paycheck world behind, but also possess the willpower to never look back. My point is this: if you move forward but continue to carry around that nagging feeling that you might have been better off with the paycheck security blanket, as small as it might have been, it will do nothing but hold you back. There is much more than a slight chance at the first bump in the road or moment of self-doubt, you'll go running back to the work matrix and the warm embrace of the boss's shackles. Now, what about moonlighting? I realize many of you are asking yourselves, can't I give digital freelancing a try on the side while I continue to work at my other side job? The answer is absolutely. Many great freelancing careers started out by moonlighting. However, I do want to point out that the 3 success elements still apply. For example, if you are considering moonlighting simply because you need to make more money, I get that. However, I would suggest that your efforts would be better spent at landing a better job. Building a freelancing career is a very difficult place to build a side gig. Now, if you're considering moonlighting because your answer to the 3 fundamental questions is yes, and you just need to get your ducks in a row, then you have a much greater chance of success. So ask yourself, do you have the absolute need to leave the paycheck world behind and the ability to never look back? Do you feel you can no longer breathe in the work matrix? If you feel that spending the next 6 months surviving on just a 50-gallon drum of peanut butter is a better alternative than cashing that check on Friday, then guess what? You just might be a digital freelancer. Now, I want to go ahead and put some of these words into action. Ask yourself, does this sound like you? Does the idea of someone else dictating you are worth X dollars per hour or per paycheck make you physically ill or break out in hives? Then I want you to consider taking some time to truly think about, or better yet, write down the answers to the following questions. The truth is, most, if not all, of your life, you've let someone else tell you what you are worth. Imagine you had to come up with a yearly honest figure of what, down deep, you truly believe is your valuation. This is harder than it sounds, if you really take a moment to think about it. Come up with an honest max figure of what you are worth based in your field. Now, after you write down some figure in the millions or billions, which we all did, go ahead and scratch it out and really think about it honestly and come up with a number. Next, I want you to take some time and list out all the things you value more than a paycheck. In other words, if someone asked you, go to the park with your kids or money, and you would honestly choose the park, then list time with your kids as more important than money. I do hope that list is quite long. If that list is short, then you're just living for money, and that would make me a sad panda. So list out all of the things you value more than money, the things you would trade for a higher pay. Then I want you to take all of the personal values you listed, and I want you to consider a new number. If you consider that list and ask yourself, if you could only have all the things on that list but only make X dollars, how low would that number be before the exchange was no longer worth it or possible? All right, guys, here's some final thoughts. We've taken some time to examine the first of the three core fundamentals, the absolute need to leave the paycheck world behind and the ability to never look back. We've taken a look at the need to have a top value number and a bottom value exchange number, two numbers that nobody came up with but you. And most importantly, we need to stay the course, because I intend to show you how to start out above your bottom exchange value number and continue to climb towards your top number. Okay? Now, I'll see you in the next course. Don't look back now, because next we're going to examine the second success element. So be sure to be on time. Okay, that was a hint at the next topic. See you in the next course.